Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Congratulations. Did you know that you being a coach, consultant, or small to medium business owner, you are amongst one of the select few that are destined to live a life of their own choosing? You might not believe me, but being able to write, speak, or connect for a living is a remarkable gift. Now, welcome to the Online Prosperity Experience, where we talk about stuff that seemingly doesn't matter, but actually makes a huge difference in order for you to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And I can understand right now as a coach, maybe you just want to hear information about your consulting, your training, your information, your expertise, or your paid speaking gigs. And did I say speaking? Right. See, you're getting paid to speak. You're getting paid to write and create content, and you're actually able to do this from anywhere in the world. You know why? Because the internet has been created for people with your expertise. All right. If you're always been listening to the Online Prosperity Experience, you'd understand that we have defined the internet as the place that is actually driven by community, conversations, and content. And as a Online Prosperity Experience listener or an internet explorer, these are the things that we constantly are looking at in order for us to create businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Now, I understand, for most of the time, we actually take our ability to speak or to write or to connect for granted. Now, these are the things that actually bring people close to us so they can learn from us, so that they can buy from us and become customers for life, customers that pay, stay, and refer. And after all, pretty much anyone can write, right? Anyone can speak, right? Anyone can connect, right? But I tell you what, learning how to actually do this will help you influence people in ways that you never thought imaginable. You see, I got a 3-year-old that I take out to her kindergarten every Monday and Friday. And when I'm there, I take time to look at how she interacts with other kids and look at how she speaks to other kids and how other kids speak to their parents. And I notice where the disconnect is. Yes, we speak to our kids, but are we actually communicating? Yes, we speak to other people, but are we actually communicating? Okay, because when you're communicating, you're passing on a message and you're expecting some sort of call to action from the other person. Yes, we can speak, but are we actually passing on a message that is clarified in order for us to help other people solve their problems? So pretty much, yes, anybody can write, anybody can speak, anybody can connect, but are they actually making a difference? Are they doing exactly what it is that you are doing and actually getting paid for it? Okay? I mean, it's one of those default skills that we learn at school or as kids, and that's why I gave reference to my 3-year-old. And because anybody can do it, the act of maybe writing or speaking or connecting becomes a commodity. But if you can actually use it to your advantage, because the internet is based on community, conversations, and content, you, my friend, will be able to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And sometimes, just because it has been relegated to become a commodity, anybody can do it cheaper, better, faster. I mean, how many podcasts are out there? How many blog posts are being put out there? And yet, we are actually not using them to communicate our message to the right audience. And there's no longer anything special about being a good speaker or being a good writer. Okay, I mean, even your mother writes. Even some dogs have got blogs. I know of a dog that's got a podcast. My neighbor writes letters to the council or things of that nature. My kids write. I mean, in fact, chances are that one of them is actually writing something on Facebook right now. Everybody is writing. We're typing stuff into the internet, but are we actually communicating? Are we actually helping people solve problems using those skills, which actually bring us, in connection to other people that would then pay us money? All right. So if you view your writing as a craft, if you view your speaking as a craft, if you view your skills in connecting with other people as a craft, not just a commodity, remarkable things will start happening. You know why? Because everybody thinks they can do it. It's like walking. Have you ever noticed that models actually go to school to learn how to walk? The first thing that you did as a kid, people go to school for that. Now, if you think you just being able to put one foot in front of the other is deemed as walking that actually sells, then you, my friend, have a thing or two coming. Even talking. People go to public speaking schools. Do I need to go any further? If you're not crafting these seemingly, unimportant skills, you are actually leaving a lot of money on the table. Yes, you might be an expert in whatever you're doing. Yes, you might be the best in your line of work. But if you can't speak to pass on that message or to even influence other people to be, do, and have a happier existence, your expertise is as good as zero. If you can't write about it, all right, if you can't write a compelling argument so that people can get to understand your line of thinking, then what good is you being a good writer, if nobody else can hear about it or read about it? If you're a good speaker, yes, it's good when you're speaking on stage, but how do you get on stage? Are you not invited, predicated on the fact that people have heard you speak on a podcast like this? So if you're not using any of these, seemingly commodity activities, then you're missing out on the transformation that you can possibly do as a coach, consultant, or a small to medium business. And now, let's just look at what might be happening in your business, and then I'll tell you why I'm bringing this discussion to you right now, okay? You are probably just cold calling potential clients and having them hang up in your face. This is pretty much because people do business with those they know, like, and trust. Where have they read about you? Where have they seen your work? Where have they heard about your unique ways of creating, solutions to the problems they might be having? So if you're calling up somebody right now, expecting them to know who you are before you've even put value up front, how do you expect them to understand who you are or what it is that you can do for them? Okay, so maybe that's something that you don't do. You probably don't cold call people. You're probably sending out hundreds of emails without even getting as much as, hey, thank you so much for reaching out. Yes, your email might just be talking about yourself, who you are. Look at me, look at me, look at me. What's in it for the recipient? What's in it for the person who's going to be receiving it? How are you going to change their life? And why should they take notice to whatever you're sending? Okay, so maybe you don't send cold emails. You're probably just advertising like any person in business. And if you're not, then maybe you're not even in business and you have no business listening to this online prosperity experience, because this is where we snitch on other coaches and consultants that are not doing it right so that you can learn from that. So maybe you're wasting thousands of ad spend without even generating any qualified leads. What is the point? To make Facebook reach? To make Google reach, to make Instagram reach, to make Spotify reach? What is it that you're actually paying for those ads if you're not generating any leads? And if people are coming to your website, are they actually converting? Because if people are not converting, that is wasted ad spend. That is money that you could be putting towards growing your business or actually funding your lifestyle. So why would you be giving Mark Zuckerberg more money than he knows what to do with? And I know sometimes it feels like no one wants to buy what you're selling. And, when you rely on your business to put food and pay rent, man, put food on the table, man, it might put an enormous strain, obviously, on your emotions. So speaking, writing, and connecting are skills we shouldn't take advantage of. You know, long gone are the days where marketing just meant you needed to know the 4 Ps. And I don't know if you actually understand where I'm coming from, or is it me revealing how actually old I am? You know, when we started studying marketing, it was all about product, price, promotion, position, all those Ps. And you know, you could add prosper to that as well. All right. And apparently those 4 Ps grew to become 7 Ps, and it just became whatever, a P factory, peeing all over the place. But nowadays, you need skills to connect with people. People should hear about you. People should see you. People should read you. People should experience you. People should hear about your message, whatever it is that you're putting out there. And how do you constantly become, you know, top of mind to the people that you are willing to be, you know, creating for and relating to? You need to have identified your target market. And then once you identify the target market, systemize and clarify the message you're going to be delivering to them. And then find a media, such as a podcast, such as a blog, such as Instagram, for you to be disseminating that message consistently up until people know, like, and trust you. So if you are not viewing your speaking, your writing, and your connecting ability as something that is of a something that is important, then, like I said, you are definitely missing out on how you can create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Okay, first of all, you have to find a way to express yourself. What are you good at? Okay, look at how I show up in your space every single time using the podcast, right? Because I know I can speak. I was born in Zimbabwe, okay, where obviously we didn't have any role models growing up. I didn't even know I was going to be able. Right about now, I could cry, sit down in my office and speak to thousands, if not millions, of people every single day, just using the power of my voice and helping them create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. I never knew this was possible. So you need to find a way to express yourself. You need to find a way to pass that message that you have, just so that your message can then help other people be, do, and have a happier existence. All right? You need to let people feel, your what you're feeling, your feelings, your opinions. All right? It just has to go simply beyond writing maybe one Facebook post or one Instagram post or one tweet or something, whatever you guys are doing on TikTok these days. And once you're there, you would have developed maybe a craft that allows you to make a living, or some supplemental income that you can be making from the content that you're putting out there. Remember what I said, the internet is created by communities, by conversations, and by content. People come to the internet to get information. And if they can get that information from you, guess what happens? They get to know you, like you, and trust you. And people do business with those they know, like, and trust. So if you're not writing, if you're not speaking, if you're not showing up in front of your audience, how are they going to know of your existence? How are they going to know of your solutions? And how are they going to know that you can solve their problems? So don't take for granted what you have in your possession. The speaking, the writing, and the creation of content while you're connecting people to resources, opportunities, and those people that can help them be, do, and have a happier existence. And if you then create it in such a way that you have a repository of content, people will pay you for the work that you've done. They might not directly pay you for creating a podcast, but this podcast might actually be the reason why somebody decides to want to work with us. Let me tell you something. For myself, I've made a living by either speaking, writing, or connecting with people for the last 10 years. All right. I mean, I know of people around me that are, going to work every single day. My brother-in-law goes to work every single day. Some of my friends are going to work every single day. I've been able to create income for myself and my family. Create this just from speaking, just from writing, and just from showing up. Some people might use their writing experience to become a journalist, and they get paid for that. Some people are just writers. They write books or guest post for other people that they get paid for. I know somebody who makes a living being a travel writer, and a couple of people that are novelists or people that are writing books and turning those books into income that is supporting them. And not to mention people that I know professionally, most of whom make an excellent income as copywriters and business communication writers. Just today, I was speaking to somebody who's making, 8 figures being a PR consultant, helping people tell their story. Because let me tell you something, your life story and your experience is what people are seeking out there. And if you're not putting it there, if you're not putting it in the public space, how are people going to know about your existence? How are people going to know how you, suited to solve their problems? Because people like us do things like this. That's what your customers are seeking out, people that represent them, people that have gone through what they're going through so that they can understand and have the solutions to the problems that they have. I mean, I can understand as an entrepreneur, writing, speaking, or connecting with people is just maybe one aspect of running a successful business. You go from hiring and managing new staff, you balance your books, driving growth, and a whole lot more. All of that requires you to write something. You write a letter, you write a proposal to your clients. That's how we get paid. You write an invoice. So if you don't know how to write, you can't get paid. You have to speak to your clients, even if it's through video, even if it's through podcast, even if it's through networking, even if it's through Zoom. You are speaking, sprechenzing with your customers. That way, guess what happens? You're exchanging ideas, you're showcasing your value, and they can know if you're the right person to work with them. Every aspect of your business requires you to be able to speak, be able to write, and be able to connect with people. How are you going to find the vendors that will supply some of the work that you're doing so that you can outsource the work that you're doing? I mean, all of it feels like a constant balancing act where you're pulled in multiple different directions all at once. But if you know how to communicate, if you know how to put your words out there in such a way that you leverage your time, you, my friend, will be able to create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Because if you can write, then you don't have to keep repeating yourself. If you can speak like this, then you can, duplicate yourself in different, places all at once. I mean, seriously, writing, speaking, and connecting is not simply one more way to make a living. It is a unique way to make a living because you can leverage all the things that you have created. Right now, I'm sitting here and I know after 30 minutes, I've frozen this time. Between you and me, whether you listen to the whole podcast or not, but I've frozen this time and somebody can revert back to it at any given moment in their life, unless they delete it. So this 30 minutes is now written in stone. And guess what? Had I spent the 30 minutes in my office, you wouldn't have heard about this. You wouldn't have known about any of this stuff. So look at what that does. When you put your voice out there, when you put your words out there, you change people's perceptions. You change people's lives. And in the process, you get paid for it. So like I said, speaking, writing, and creating content is not simply one way to make a living. It's a unique way to make a living. Because as a writer or as a freelancer or as a coach or consultant, and as a digital marketer, I have some huge advantages over friends and colleagues who have traditional jobs. Look at this. My work skill is evergreen. We're always going to need to communicate, to sell our products. There's always going to be a need for a digital marketer. All right, let's say you're a landscape. If people decide they don't want to create that outside area into something that needs proper maintenance, and then they just create a set and forget feature, will you still have that job? Or when people move to start living in Dubai in that line thing that they're talking about, maybe that's where you're living and listening to me from right now, will they still need all the other, jobs that are out there. My work skill is evergreen. I don't have to relearn how to write as the world and technology changes around me. We just need to change the paper format that we are writing on. But we're still going to be writing. Even in the Bible, they were given tablets to write on. And now we've got tablets that we scroll and do whatever on. But we still have to put words on some sort of a paper in order to pass on a message. Okay, you might argue that that's not a strong enough point. Look at how my work skill is hugely flexible. I can literally walk away from today having created something remarkable in the form of this podcast. I just listen to what people are saying and then I come and snitch on them to you. And you are going to take this information. I don't know what you're going to do with the information today, but you will use it somehow to strengthen your speaking, your writing, and your content creation skills. So see how hugely flexible this is. I did it in the comfort of my home. It's a good thing that I'm a respectable dad. I probably would have just done it with no pants on. And sorry if I'm giving you a visual right there. So I can write my own sales copy. I can speak my way to the bank. I can write editorial content. I can write books. I can write ebooks. I write programs and courses, things that I can sell online. And I can do that all in the comfort of my home. So my work skill is totally portable. I don't need to report to any location in order for me to fulfill my duties. I just leave around with a microphone and a laptop. I just have this big screen, in front of me just to scare my girls. Otherwise, they'll think I don't do anything for work. So just give me a small laptop and drop me off anywhere in the world. As long as I can find internet access, I will make money. So look at how incredible that skill is. In other words, I can work as a writer, I can work as a speaker, and I can work, especially these days with Zoom. I can literally speak in different, stages, and I can literally create courses and everything else and leverage my time without even showing up and being seen out there in the world. The best thing about this is I can't be fired. I've identified my market. I've clarified my message. Now I live life on my own terms. I work for myself and I'm light on my feet. I mean, if I lose a client or, some projects come to an end, I can still find another. In effect, I never lose this job that I'm doing. You know why? Because I'll always be able to speak. If maybe I'm running out of cash, I could create a course and sell it immediately. If I really wanted to, I could put all these podcasts into some sort of a platform where people can actually, wait a minute, I could do that, right? Where people can subscribe and no longer, if you want them curated and put in such a way that, I actually got a business idea. Wait a minute. I've got 7 minutes left in this call. This is, see what happens? It doesn't matter how young or old I am. I could be 92 and I'll still be able to, work on my consultancy. Most employees start, to get pretty nervous when they hit the age 50. When I hit the age 50, I'll be running around like like never before. You know why? Because I've seen Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is about 92 or 93, and he still runs one of the most successful businesses in the whole entire world. All he does is speak, write, and does the money thing, and connects with people, and connects with, whatever monetary instruments that he invests in, and things of that nature. Listen to this, man. From 16 to 65, you can earn a wage, right? But from 0 to 99, you can earn a profit, all right? So at the end of the day, you can do and have a happier existence as long as you keep perfecting your speaking, your writing, and your connection skills. I'm not just saying this to excite you or to, toot your horn or things of that nature. If you improve on those skills, you, my friend, will have a happier existence. The profit will come. So for me, I'm never going to worry about any of the things that a lot of my colleagues worry about, losing their job or having to retire or things of that nature. That isn't the case for me. I invested in my speaking, I invested in my writing, and I invested in my connection skills. And things that I did 10 years ago, I can still leverage off of them right now. And you can imagine me building this whole body of work in terms of this podcast is just creating content for those that are on their way up. And if somebody who really wants to grow their business finds this podcast, they too will have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. So like I said, that's not the case for me or for anyone else who writes or speaks or connects with other people for a living. For as long as my writing has value, for as long as my voice, I still have my voice, I'll never be penalized for my age. I'll never have to worry about where the next dollar is going to come from, and so on. I mean, in a world where everything is changing fast and where jobs are disappearing faster than they're being created, it's wonderful to have a skill that is so resilient. It's wonderful to have a skill that is so evergreen. I mean, look at this. It's a culture shock that awaits a lot of new generation and old peers like that, All the people that are going to university, the marketing courses still major on theory, the 4 Ps and things of that nature. You just need to connect with people, identify that target market, clarify your message so much, and then determine what media you're going to be using to disseminate, that message through. And you might be thinking, I'm probably not a good writer, or I'm not a good speaker, or I'm not a good, podcast or video person. Look at what happens. I listen to what people say to me every single day. And then I find a topic that resonates, like what we're talking about today here, which is basically, being able to write, speak, or connect with other people for a living is a remarkable gift, right? And then this was sparked by a client that I spoke to who was telling me, I can't write, or I can't, do a podcast every single day like you do. And I'm like, you're not speaking to enough people. Do you mean to tell me that you can't sit after a day's work and talk to your wife about things that happened at work? I mean, seriously, I'm at home right now, and my wife is probably in another room listening to me, but I still have stuff to talk to her about when I finish work, because so much is happening, around her, the kids and everything else, friends and all that stuff. And I'm also having things happening in the business. So there's always stuff to talk about. So you mean to tell me you can't curate any of that stuff so you can at least talk to your audience that are going to be paying you money about the stuff that's happening in your life? I mean, you're not that lazy, right? I don't think you are. You've got stuff going on that you can derive lessons from, unless you're not the person that you think you are. My friend, knowledge is power. If you know how to speak well, how to write well, how to create content that resonates, more power to you, man. More and more we're being called to differentiate ourselves in the marketplace. How do you differentiate yourself? You tell your story. You repeat it over and over again up until people get to know, like, and trust you, and you understand. If you're an internet explorer, I repeat this all the time. People do business with those they know, like, and trust. Wouldn't it be nice to have work that's evergreen, that whatever you touch, whatever you do, whatever you are executing is not just a once and done. It's an evergreen piece of content that somebody can pick up 10 years down the line and still have, you can still resonate with the work that you're doing. Anyway, I know this might just be off the cuff and things of that nature, but let me tell you something. If you would like help to take advantage of these challenging times, or to actually create for and relate to your audience, I invite you to schedule a call with me. And guess what we'll do? We'll work hands-on with you, and we'll develop a strategic plan, and then we can deep dive and work through your ideal client, clarity First of all, we look at your strategic messaging and then look at your consulting offers so that you have something to constantly be writing about, speaking about, and connecting people to your point of view. From then on, you can start creating your consulting, your coaching, or your business offers, and then you can actually raise your fees if you have created a methodology that's unique to you. And guess what happens after that? You just optimize your your business model so that you can create for and relate to the people that you only want to work with. That way, my friend, you can't be fired. See, like I said, man, you can never lose your job if you have created your own methodology. It doesn't matter how old or young you're going to be. And then pretty much once we connect, I'll then help you set up your marketing engine and your lead generation system so you can constantly attract your ideal clients. At the end of the day, it's when you start creating your own ticket, you're printing your own money. This actually represents the ultimate flexibility and portability of what you have in your hands. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with this information today. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au